we're talking jihad, terror, security threats. We have to talk about the Iranian regime, the foremost sponsor of terrorism in the world. It seems, Minister, that over the past few years here in the West, there has been a tendency to say, well, you know, the Iran nuclear deal neutralized Iran. They are moderating. We can deal with them. Can you talk about how this Iranian regime has not changed its spots?
Yeah, no doubt about the fact that Iran, for the first time since the State of Israel was established in 1948, Iran created an existential threat against Israel. We never faced before an existential threat. How you measure threat? By tools and intention. Now, the intention was given on record by the highest level in Iran when the president stated loud and clear, we intend to destroy the State of Israel. Now, Iran is sitting two countries between Iran and Israel. So there's no way to destroy the State of Israel unless you are using special tools. The special tools are nuclear bombs. There was no debate amongst all intelligence services, Israelis, Americans, Europeans, that Iran is on the track to build nuclear bombs. The deal tried to put it off only the development and building of the bombs. It doesn't deal with the long-range missiles that still are being developed. And we hear every week or two about a new launching of a long-range missile. They crossed the 2,000 kilometers distance today. And we all know that they are built in order to carry a warhead that one day will be probably a nuclear warhead.
You made a great point earlier where you talked about how Syria is so central to Iran, that Tehran, Damascus, Beirut, Bekaa Valley pipeline providing weapons to the likes of Hezbollah. Tell us about the severity of this Hezbollah threat. It seems like it often goes unnoticed here in the West, but Hezbollah has over 100,000 rockets and missiles pointed at every inch of Israel. How concerned are you about Hezbollah continuing to arm and up the distance of their rockets and missiles?
Yeah, Hezbollah, we have their participation in Syria contains two aspects. One is good for Israel, one is bad for Israel. Let's start with the good one for Israel. They've lost up until today in Syria, in the clashes with the rebels, they've lost about 1,700 terrorists. More than they lost in all clashes with the Israeli army. 1,700 means about 7,000 terrorists got injured. So these are the good news. The bad news for Israel that Hezbollah over the last 3-4 years, they're getting trained to fight in Syria in big units with artillery support, aviation support, whether it's Russian or Syrian. So it means that the next round, if God forbid it's going to happen between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, it's going to be different. That's why we are getting prepared for a different round whenever it's going to happen.
Before we go to the break, Minister, I wanted to ask you, for an American, predominantly American audience, we're seen around the world, but America, obviously, Christians United for Israel, we're based here. All of these organizations, these terror organizations, and the likes of the Iranian regime, they have American blood on their hands, whether it's Hamas, Hezbollah, you think of the Beirut barracks bombing, 1983. Why should every American care? Of course, Israel, there's geographical proximity to these threats on your borders. Why should every American care about what we're talking about? How does it affect the average American, the average Westerner, who oftentimes seems to be asleep today?
You know, we have a very basic mistake made by many countries. When they think that, all right, now we have the rebels in Syria are fighting against Bashar al-Assad, so the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It works in English, it works in Hebrew, it doesn't work in Arabic. In Arabic they say, أنا وأخوي على بن عمي وأنا وبن عمي الغريب, which means me and my brother against our cousin, and me and my cousin against the stranger. We shall always remain strangers. We, I mean the Americans, the Europeans, the Christians, the Jews, the Israelis, we shall always remain strangers. We better don't forget it.
Coming up, what drove Avi Dichter to devote his life to defending the State of Israel? Find out the powerful reason behind his mission after the break.